So England are looking to retain the World Cup this year. Obviously 2017 was massive in terms of kind of English women's cricket. How does it feel to now be involved in a World Cup and be able to play a part?
I was actually having a little think about this the other night. So obviously 2017 was quite a tough, it was like the back end of a really tough period for me. And I remember being invited into the dressing room in 2017 to sing the team song. And it was a really lovely moment, but there was also an element of, I didn't really feel like I belonged in that dressing room at that time because I wasn't in kit. All the girls were having a drink, and so on the adrenaline high from winning the game, that it just didn't quite feel right. And I remember thinking to myself, next time I do this, I'm going to make sure I'm in the team and I'm in the squad. So obviously it's been 5 years since then, and with a tiny bit of hindsight, I couldn't be more pleased with the place that I'm at mentally and physically, and just how my form's been over the last 12 months. So I think if someone had said this to me in 2017, that I'd be here like on the eve of a World Cup feeling how I do, then I'd have absolutely bit the hand off. So I'm just really excited to get out there. And like I said, I'm really enjoying my cricket at the minute, and I'm just going to try and see it as that. It's 8 more opportunities to play for England if I get in the team. So I think, it's just more, and I'm just looking forward to it at this point rather than trying to think too much about the bigger picture of what we could do if we go on to win it.
Kind of what's the feeling within the camp, and is it kind of optimistic looking towards World Cup?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this time they're retaining it. They won it the last time, so I think it's definitely optimistic. And we've got all the talent. We've got a lot of knowledge and experience. I mean, half the team pretty much already won the World Cup. How long ago was it? 4 years ago. So like they know how to do it. So it doesn't mean we can't do it again. I think we're all very optimistic, and we know what we need to do to win it and bring it home.
There's obviously for England that aim of retaining it. Do you think they'll kind of maybe see the pressure that comes with that, or they'll kind of be not too fazed by it?
I guess after losing the Ashes so heavily, that pressure might have disappeared a little bit more. The pressure is now on Australia to win the World Cup. They've not won one for a long time. And I guess they'll have nightmares about that World Cup in 2017 on where they went wrong and being beaten by India in the semi-final. England are underdogs to Australia, but I genuinely believe they can beat Australia. They've got them the first game, the group game. So I'm hoping that they put the wrongs right pretty quickly, because they've got to turn things around. But if they don't win that first game, we showed in 2017, you can get on a run of form and take that momentum with you.
What are your kind of aims for the upcoming tournament?
I think to me personally is to gain as much experience playing out here, because again, it's another country that I've not played in, like Australia, so different conditions for me. And I think it's to keep like kind of learning from all the experienced players in the team. And it's a brilliant team to be in, obviously, but a lot of the players have got so much experience, and I just think it's a good time to me to be a part of it.
You mentioned kind of that element of enjoying it and making sure you enjoy it. How important is that in kind of aiding your performance in kind of, obviously England looking to retain the trophy? How does that help kind of maybe avoid the pressure that comes with that?
I think it's so important, and me and Alex talk about this so much on our podcast because we get asked this a lot. But I started playing cricket when I was a kid because I enjoyed it so much, and you need to not go too far away from that. And it's really difficult sometimes because it's quite a cruel sport. But I think what our enjoyment factor gives us is the opportunity to just park performances. If we've not done well, if we have done well, just almost get rid of it. And you have to do that in World Cup cricket because the games come quite thick and fast, and you're playing against a new opposition every game. So I think having that enjoyment factor as a team kind of can give you that, I guess, the headspace to be able to evaluate everything quite evenly, and not get too down if you've not done well, and not get too high if you've done really well. So yeah, I think that's going to be one of our main goals throughout the whole tournament, is just embrace it and enjoy it and play with a smile on our face, because we know that that's what we get a lot of comments about that from people, and especially young girls. I want to see young girls seeing me enjoying the game, so that they might be inspired to pick up a bat or ball because I look like I'm having so much fun. So that's the main thing for me.
Obviously, you were involved in 2017 in the World Cup winning side. Is it going to be hard on commentary to be unbiased? Is there kind of that attachment to it now that you would like to see, obviously, your title retained?
Yeah, I mean, when you are working, you're supposed to be, unbiased, but everybody knows that I am just a huge England cricket fan. I want them to win and I want Australia to lose. And every time I'm on the radio, people kind of accept that now. So when India beat Australia in the first T20 World Cup game in 2020, I was actively celebrating. So there'll be more of that coming, I'm sure.
And first up, it's familiar friends in Australia. How do you approach that, considering you've obviously played a lot of cricket against them recently? And are you kind of instead maybe looking to establish a style you're trying to play throughout the whole tournament instead of focusing on just kind of them in particular?
Yeah, I think that first game's a nerve-wracking one. Whoever you play, it's everyone kind of finds their feet in the tournament, and it's almost to get that first one out of the way. And if I remember rightly from 2017, the girls lost to India in that first match and then didn't lose after that. So I think regardless of the result in that first game, it's going to be about us playing better cricket than we did in the Ashes. And that'll be whoever we were playing against, that would have been our goal. I think that the benefit, I guess, of having just recently played Australia is we know exactly what they're about as a team. We know we can beat them. We've had some really good phases of cricket where we've really challenged them, and when we put pressure on them, we saw that they were definitely beatable. So we've got that confidence that we can take from the Ashes. We've just got to piece it all together, which is, I think, if we can do that in that first game against them, then it'll set us up so nicely for the rest of the round robin stage, and then hopefully into the knockout stages as well.
We're in quite a difficult time in terms of COVID, and obviously New Zealand are maybe a lot stricter than the UK at the moment. How does that come into it, and how important is kind of getting behind each other in maybe those low moments that come along the way, as obviously it's a long tournament?
Yeah, it's really important, actually. It's probably something we've learned through this COVID time, is how much of a good environment we need the dressing room to be, because naturally, because we're not allowed to do like indoor events, you can't really get yourself away from cricket like you used to do. So you can't nip to the cinema, you can't go shopping, you can't just go into a restaurant and take an hour to yourself or whatever. So that has been a really difficult side of it for a lot of people, and we've kind of had to build new routines around how you do get away from cricket. So like half the girls have started playing golf now. Sophie's obsessed with it. She's bought all the clubs and everything and played about twice since we've been here. So but yeah, you've got to have these new routines now. So I think we don't actually really know what the rules will look like around COVID with the rising COVID cases that we've got. We've been given kind of some protocols, but I wouldn't be surprised if they change and get a lot stricter. So that'll just be something we're going to have to get our head around if it does happen. But I guess we've kind of been used to it now. I think we're probably a team that's done more of these COVID bubbles than any of the other teams in this tournament. So we could see that as a positive, or we can see it as a negative, but hopefully we'll be able to kind of draw on our experiences and make sure that we look after each other throughout the next 5-6 weeks.
Just from a general point of view, what are you looking out for this tournament?
I guess I'm looking for England to put things right where they went wrong in the Ashes. They played a really strong Australia side. They did go toe-to-toe in that first T20, and then at parts of the test match, they relied heavily on a few players, but they've got a really strong bowling unit now with, Crossy and Soph especially, probably the first two names on the team sheet in that bowling attack as well. So yeah, they've just got to put things right with their batting. So hopefully Lammy gets a good opportunity at the top of the order, and we can have all three Thunder girls in that starting 11.
And from just looking across all the teams and the whole tournament, which players will you be kind of looking to keep an eye on, or would you suggest that maybe people that aren't as familiar with the number of international women's teams look out for?
I guess from a New Zealand point of view, Amelia Kerr has come back after having a lengthy time away, and she's just scored 450s in a row in a series against India. She's been unbelievable leg spin bowler. I mean, I have to say Sophie Eccleston, don't I? She's literally the best bowler in the world. Lammy made her debut just before we came out here, and I genuinely believe she's good enough to play international cricket. So I'm hoping she gets a good run. South Africans, Lizelle Lee, she's unbelievable. She's just had a baby, so there's a bit of nobody really knows if she's coming over or not because her partner's just given birth. So we shall see. But there's so much cricket to look forward to, and so many different teams. We've got Bangladesh making their debut in a World Cup, so that's exciting within itself.
And obviously we're wanting England to win it, as we've said already. But if you had to pick like a dark horse that may not be the first choice, but who you think could do quite well in the tournament?
England. I think they are the dark horse. Australia are the favourites going in.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the world. I'm hoping for an Australia-England final. But either South Africa or New Zealand look really strong at the minute. They've blown India out the water for the first time ever. So New Zealand look good, and I guess when it's a home World Cup and it comes with that added pressure, sometimes it can help and be a bonus. So New Zealand, I'm backing to at least make semi-finals.
In general, how big is this tournament for women's cricket, considering kind of all the hype that's really been generated around the sport over the last couple of years with the 100, and obviously kind of looking at Twitter recently with the Ashes, the amount of people that were following it as if it was the men's Ashes?
Yeah, it's massive. I think we're getting to the stage now, and the 100's helped, that it's not men's or women's cricket, it's just cricket, and there is no reason that people can't get behind it. It's a World Cup. It's a 50-over World Cup. They're incredibly special. This one was put back a year because of COVID as well, so it's been nearly 5 years since the last one. And I guess everybody at home is going to want England to win, and everybody should get behind them. And I guess it helps having the Barmy Army as well. They've been fantastic over the last few months, supporting the girls over the Ashes series. So yeah, I think it's going to be an incredible tournament. And if England win, another watershed moment for English women's cricket.
We've been crying out for this for so long now. We've not been doing all this hard work and training and doing the putrid running sessions for just for nothing. We want people to watch us, we want people to get involved, and we want people to enjoy watching us play as well. But I've seen such a switch of mentality, like on social media, for example. When I first got into professional cricket, which it's not that long ago, it was only 9 years ago now, that the kind of talk around women's sport on social media is so negative. And now I'm seeing people like messaging the ECB saying, when are the England women's summer fixtures coming out? I want to know what my planning, I want to be able to buy a ticket. So it really does feel like there's been a change of perception, I guess, in how people view us. And that's happened because we've got better at cricket and we've put more time into it, and the funding's been there, and we're playing on better pitches now. So it is so exciting to be a part of that. And I remember thinking probably about 5 years ago how quickly we'd sped up in terms of the traction of the game. And now another 4 or 5 years on, I'm thinking, gosh, is it going to stop? Is it going to slow down? And it doesn't seem to. So it's so great to be a part of that. And the 100 was a brilliant example of that in the summer as well, with the number of kids and young girls that we saw in the crowd, which was just amazing. I think the power of having female role models as a young female is so special. And that was something I didn't have when I was a kid. It was always men on the TV playing cricket, or if I went down to my local cricket club, I was the only girl. So the fact that we're kind of changing that narrative now is so special. And yeah, long may it continue. And hopefully this another tournament that adds to those kind of memories and that narrative that I was just talking about.
And just finally, how special is it to be involved in a World Cup and to win one?
It's an incredible privilege. It's something that you work for your whole life, and something that I guess I took for granted. I didn't realize at the time it would probably be my only World Cup, so it's my first and only one that I played in. Luckily we won it, but as I said to Crossy on our podcast, I said just go out there and enjoy it and take every moment in, because it might be your only one that you play in, it might not be, but it's a huge honor to represent your country in a 50-over World Cup. So I'm looking forward to watching the girls out there.